My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. I'm going to give you my favorite PrizePicks entry for UFC 295. They dropped these lines a little earlier than usual. It's a big pay-per-view, so I want to get you this video early before some of these lines take off. If you don't know what PrizePicks is, it's daily fantasy. You come in here, you say more or less than the numbers you see on the screen, and you can 10 times your money. They will even give you free money to play. The only thing you need to do is go to wewantpicks.com/prizepicks, use promo code WWP, and they will instantly match your deposit. If you give them 10 bucks, they'll give you 10 bucks. You give them 100 bucks, they'll give you $100. Take that very free money and build yourself an entry. wewantpicks.com/prizepicks. That promo code is WWP. Full disclosure, I've missed my PrizePicks entry the last couple of weeks. In my defense, last week, half the fights I had on here were canceled, and then we had a draw. So take what I'm about to give you with a little bit of caution. Obviously, if you agree, dive in. If you don't, that's fine. Get the free money. Build your own entry, right? Nobody's saying copy mine. I'm telling you what I'm doing with my money. I'm a little more confident this week than I have been in weeks past. Before I jump in, though, look at all these sports across the top. PrizePicks is far more than just MMA, although that is what we're going to focus on here. So we're going to start with significant strikes. I don't typically like significant strikes. I don't have a significant strike line here necessarily. The only one I would consider is the Steve Erceg, more than 49.5. And if we look at Steve Erceg's fights, he's only had one fight in the UFC so far. He landed 54. So he beat that number by 5. Barely beat a number, but he did beat that number. And he had a whole bunch of takedowns in that fight. He was taken down. It was a little bit of a back and forth kind of fight. If you guys think Steve Erceg works through Alessandro Costa, well, then maybe he'll blow past this number. Alessandro Costa, he is a busy guy. This could be a back and forth fight, and he could get past this number. I'll leave this in there for now. The other one that I was looking at, and I decided not to, was John Castaneda, 55.5 significant strikes. I wanted to do the more, right? In my mind, John Castaneda is a really busy, come-forward guy. He is going to stay in Kyung Ho Kang's face and be busy, 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 and his hands will fly. But then I went and let me check all the stats. Let me see what number he gets to in his fights before I go ahead and place this. His last fight, he only landed 40. Before that, he did beat it at 57. Before that, 58. Before that, 42, 55, 46. So he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fights in the UFC, and only 3 times did he get past this number. I'm going to leave it. I don't trust it enough, especially with Kang. Has that big power. There may be a lot more wrestling than we expect here, so I'm going to leave that alone. The rest of these, I just don't like at all. So let's go ahead and move over to Fantasy Score. Fantasy Score, what I like to do is find a favorite that or not a favorite, but somebody I know is going to win by finish, but do a good amount of work before that finish, or favorites that I think will lose. So if we come in here, I don't like the Steve Erceg line. That could be a weird decision. The Jamal Emmers line, Dennis Bazooka, I did not pick him to win, but I was this close to doing it, so we'll leave that alone. Josh Van, we just don't know how good he is just yet. There's a lot of questionable numbers here, but I do like the more on Mackenzie Dern. I think Mackenzie Dern, Jessica Andrade has shown us that she cannot defend a real takedown. Mackenzie Dern's takedowns are not very good, but it should be good enough to get Andrade down. And even if it's not, we have seen Mackenzie Dern climb people against the cage to get it to the ground. I think Mackenzie Dern showcases some of the striking we saw in her last fight, potentially gets a takedown or two, and then gets a finish. And I think she can get past this 90.5 Fantasy Score. Tom Aspinall, it's a heavyweight fight. That's a 50-50. Alex Pereira, man, both of these guys are savages. That's another tricky fight. Benoit Saint-Denis, 98.5. Listen, Matt Frevola could Drew Dober him. So a lot of these I'm not loving, but I do like the Mackenzie Dern more. If we go to fight time minutes, another sad story here. I don't love any of these. The only one that makes some sense to me is Alex Pereira, more than 8.5 fight minutes. Jiri Prochazka, let's go ahead and grab that. Jiri Prochazka is tough, and so is Alex Pereira. And it's not ridiculous to think that this fight would go to the 3rd round. Jiri Prochazka just went 5 rounds. Alex Pereira, we've seen him go 5 rounds. His last fight didn't, but we've seen, 2 fights ago didn't, and his last fight didn't, but that did go to a decision that went to the 3rd round. So Alex Pereira getting to the 3rd round with Jiri doesn't seem crazy to me. So 8.5 fight minutes. We don't even need it to get to the 3rd round, just most of the way through the 2nd. So I'll throw that on the board. Tom Aspinall, 5 fight minutes. Those are heavyweights. We're going to leave that alone. Pat Sabatini should be a decision. This is probably a decision. I am going to grab it. This is probably a decision because even if you're on the Diego Lopes side, he's not going to submit Pat Sabatini. Pat Sabatini was a very high-level black belt grappler. He's not going to get submitted, and so is Diego. So this might be a very boring, jockeying for position on the ground type fight, but getting through the second round, I do think that will happen. And then if we go to takedown, so I have a few entries in here now. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can go ahead and add another one. The takedown lines that I like John Castaneda more. I do think he is going to take down Kang twice. That's all we need is 2 takedowns. I would also do Benoit Saint-Denis less than 2, but we're going to leave that alone because maybe he somehow gets there, but we're going to leave that one alone. I like the John Castaneda to get to 2 takedowns more than the Benoit Saint-Denis, fewer than 2 takedowns. We're going to go ahead. This is 5 entries. It is automatically a flex pay. If all 5 of these hit, I will 10 times my money. $20 is $200. If 4 of them hit, I double my money. $20 is $40. And if 3 of them hit, meaning I've lost 2. 2 of these were wrong. 3 of them were right. I still get some money back. So we're going to go ahead and lock this in. I already have an entry built as well. Let me show you the entry I had built earlier. We did Mackenzie Dern, the more on the fantasy points, John Castaneda, more than 1.5 takedowns. And then I did do that less than 2 takedowns on Benoit Saint-Denis. And then here's the 5er that we just went ahead and built. Guys, as I mentioned, they will give you free money to play. So if you think this pick is hot dumpster fire trash, that's fine. Get your free money and build your own entry and then share that in the Discord. Our Discord is 100% free. We are all in this together. All of us, you, me, the collective us are here to try to make money watching the sport that we love. So build your own entry, share it in the free Discord, and get the free money to play. WeWantPicks.com/PrizePicks. That promo code is WWP.